This is the state of the app that we are going to build on. Not a lot of functionality there, just a landing page and the registration form which creates new users. No authentication or authorization. It seems simple, and it is, but let's take a look at the source code. The root folder of the application has the requirements file, the setup file, and the app folder. If I click on the setup file, you can see that it doesn't have a lot of content. This is because I'm using the application factory. The reason I did this is because this project would be too messy if I wrote it in just one Python file. Flask is a micro framework, it gives you just the basic tools and you have to extend it. It is on you to figure out the best way to organize the code, but one of the recommended ways is to use the application factory and blueprints, which I did for this course. If you're familiar with these concepts and you know how to use SQL Alchemy, Flask Migrate, and WT Forms, you can skip this video and just download the source code. You'll figure it out quickly. However, if you're a beginner and you're not sure about some part of the application, download the PDF from the exercise files. I made this short PDF tutorial on all of these concepts so that we can all be up to speed. Please be sure that you understand everything before you continue with the course. PDF will explain all of this in more detail. I will just glance over the code in this lesson. Let's focus on this function here, create app. This is the so-called application factory, which creates the application instance. You can see that it's important from the app package. This app package is placed inside of the app directory. The way we define it as a package in Python is by creating the init file in the package's root directory. This package will hold the entire application. If I click on the init file, you may see something familiar. Instantiating the app instance from the Flask class is something we do when we just use one script to run the application. In this case, the instance is created inside of the application factory, which is a simple function that creates, configures, and returns the application instance. You can create a special configuration file to pass the different configuration options for different environments, but we're not going to complicate things here. To me, it is important that you just understand how the current structure works. If you are more interested in this topic, you can read more about it on the official Flask's website. We will put some configuration options inside of the config dictionary. Here we have the secret key and the path to the SQLite database, which will be used by SQL Alchemy and Alembic. After the app is initialized, we initialize the database SQL Alchemy instance. Notice that I first declared it here without the app. This is because we need this instance as a global variable so that we can import it in other parts of the application. After that, we need to register blueprints. Blueprints let you divide your application and organize the code. For example, here I have the main and the auth blueprint. Each part of the application is defined as a separate package inside of the app package. The blueprint in each package is defined inside of the views file. The blueprint class takes the blueprint name and the location of the blueprint. Then we can define other parameters like the template folder. This tells Flask that it should also look for templates inside of the templates folder of each package, not just the main one. And now, instead of using the app instance to register routes, we can use the blueprints. I defined the route for the registration page inside of the authentication blueprint. It uses the registration form from the local forms file. It also uses the user model, which is taken from the models file. This file is available to all of the packages. Now here's what you need to do to start the application. Download the source code from the Pluralsight. Then you can define the virtual environment inside of the root directory of the project. Once you activate it, install requirements.txt. This will install all of the required packages like SQL Alchemy and WT Forms. Finally, we need to create the database. Initialize the migration file with the help of Flask Migrate. We can then create the first migration. I will call it the initial migration. This will check out the models file and create the migration script. Now we can execute the migration script with Flask DB upgrade. And here we go. Here is the database. We can now export the needed environment variables and start a server. Don't forget to put the setup file as the Flask app starting point. If you can see the landing page, it means that everything works. Let's go to the registration page to create a new user. I will sign up as myself with some fake email since the email activation doesn't exist yet. Once you register, you will get the flash message and the new user information will be shown down here. I simply listed all of the created users inside of the home template, which you can see here. However, this registration only creates users in the database. We need to implement some type of authentication to let them log in. This is where we start to implement our custom authentication and authorization system. If you don't understand something, please check out the PDF or ask a question in the discussion of this course. I'll be happy to answer it.